So this is the first time I've actually sat under my bed, and I must say, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling quite cozy under here. I keep kicking bits of the chair. It's not my chair. I stole it from my sister, but I'm quite liking the vibe under here. I don't know whether to do something about like the overhead situation to make it look better, but we got the arrow flag. We got the ace flag. What more could you want? La 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 Hi friends, it is Sam and I want to talk to you about romance. Specifically, writing and enjoying romance as an aromantic, asexual spectrum person. I like to think of myself as a writer. Technically an author, a bit of a failed author, but I have published 2 books. One of them is no longer in circulation, but if you want to check out the other one, it's always in my description because I did it all myself and I'm proud of it. Now, in my books, I like to include a lot of diversity. I will always, always, always make sure to include people of colour in my character arsenal. The more people of colour, the better. I like to include people of all different sexualities. I've had pansexual characters, bisexual characters, very few straight characters, I will admit. And I have written an asexual character into my Furious 4 books. I'm not gonna say who it is because that hasn't come out in the story yet. I've only released book 1. I'm about halfway through book 2, the first draft. But I'm not here to talk about asexual characters. I'm actually more here to talk about allosexual characters, because you'd be quite surprised that myself as an aro-ace person, I prefer to write romantic / sexual characters. And I don't know whether that's something to do with my fascination with that aspect of life that I'm sort of missing out on. I do intend, of course, to write a book about an asexual main character with very little interest in romance, because there need to be more books out there. One perfect example of this would be Loveless. I read it recently and it's pretty much one of my favourite books now. However, alongside that book, I have another favourite book called Call Me By Your Name. I have filmed a review video on the film and the book, but some stuff came out about Armie Hammer, so I haven't released it. Let me know if you think I should release it, because I'm still quite stuck about it. This book is very sex and romance based, and I'm here for it. 100% here for it. And because at the minute I'm prioritizing writing books about allosexual people, it does make me consider how I look to other people in the ace community. Do they think that I'm doing the ace community a disservice by not having, at the moment, asexual main characters or aromantic main characters? I don't know, but I would like to point out that in every story I write, now that I know I'm asexual, I will include either an aromantic or an asexual character. Without a doubt. There will always be that little calling card in my stories, if ever I release them. So yes, I think part of the appeal for me is that excitement I know people feel in finding love and finding pleasure from physical love. And although I don't particularly want it for myself, I feel so much joy when I see it in fictional characters. Give me a film and I will most definitely try to ship characters, unless it's a film like The Shining, for example, where it's really not romance-based, which could be preferable to some Arrowaces who don't want to see sex and romance. There is a lot of upset in the ace community that we aren't represented that much in popular media, and I do want to change that. I want to be the asexual activist that changes how we appear in the media. I want to help the community to come forward. But I also just really enjoy reading romance. And if inspiration doesn't punch me in the face for a book, I can't force it. I have got like a little skeleton of a story about an Arrowace person, and I 100% want to write it, but until all the pieces come together for me, I'm not going to be excited about it, and I'm not going to force myself to be excited about it. If at the minute I want to write a story about a bisexual male who feels romantic and sexual attraction, it's what I'm going to do, because I feel inspired to do it. I feel like I could make a good book out of it, and I don't feel like I should have to feel bad for that. In my defense, the first book I wrote and released, I don't think contains any romance at all. So for me, that's like a massive deal, because I will always usually include some sort of relationship in my fiction. However, in the most recent book I released, you've got Preston, who's quite hypersexual, and I absolutely love his relationship with his boyfriend. I'm gonna give you a little teaser right now. The second book in the After the End series that I'm writing about zombies and Preston himself, it contains some flashbacks to his time with David, and it's an absolute pleasure writing their love story. I guess you could also bring into this video one myth about asexuals that I can bust right now. A lot of people think that asexuals can't or don't get aroused. That's not the case at all. Reading fictional romance and sexual relationships is something that gets me quite excited. As an asexual person, I am allowed to take enjoyment from writing and enjoying romantic / sexual fiction. I do, however, find it difficult to write sex scenes, which is understandable because I've never been that enthusiastic about sex. I've just flipped through this masterpiece to find a section that I think can explain some of my love for sexual romantic fiction as an Arrowace person, and how that doesn't negate my label at all, because I don't want it for myself. I just get really happy for characters who find their happily ever after. I will point out, this section of the book is about masturbation, but I think it could apply to why I enjoy writing what I write. My usual masturbation situation was just whenever I was in the mood to read a smutty fanfic. It felt like a safe, fun way to get turned on and have a good time. So I would just think about the characters in the fic I was reading, whatever combination of genders that involved. I wasn't fussy as long as the writing was good. It wasn't about bodies and genitals for me, it was about chemistry. I think that's one of the things I loved most about Loveless, is that Georgia is 100% aromantic asexual. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't want romance and that she doesn't enjoy romance. It's something that we're allowed to want and enjoy without actually doing it. Basically, I just wanted to make this video because I'm really into writing this particular romance novel at the moment, and I kind of feel the need to justify it. and I shouldn't, because I will always be an advocate for aromantic and asexual visibility, and I will do my utmost to help with the movement. Once I'm done with this novel, and perhaps the next in the After the End series, I might get around to writing about Joey, my Arrowace character, a little bit more. Until then, I hope you look forward to if I ever finish a book again and if I ever release it. Let me know your thoughts on this. If you're aromantic, asexual, do you enjoy romantic / sexual fiction? I really would be fascinated to know how many Arrowaces feel this way, because a lot of the Arrowaces I see on the internet are people who want more Arrowace stories that they can relate to, as opposed to being fascinated by the things that allosexual people want. I think both perspectives are completely okay and valid. It's not your choice how you feel. I think I should be fully allowed to identify as aspec but still enjoy these things and enjoy making these things without feeling guilty. I mean, I do feel a bit guilty that I'm not prioritizing my Arrowace story, but I feel like anyone who reads it deserves quality. Until I feel a mad inspiration for it, I don't want to write it, because I don't want to rush it and make a rubbish novel just because I want asexuality out there. I think if I wrote a rubbish novel about asexuality, it kind of wouldn't reach that many people. In the meantime, I will continue making videos about asexuality and hopefully reaching a wider audience. There are more things I can do to help the ace community, and I will always be willing to help the ace community. I hope you enjoyed this ramble. It's been playing on my mind for pretty much the duration of the time I've been working on this fun little story that I'm working on, which, however, could help bring visibility to a different community, but I don't want to shed light on the community it could bring visibility to, because it'd be a spoiler. I hope you have a lovely day. If you want to learn more about asexuality, sources are always in the description. I will see you next time with another video. Bye!